What's up, YouTube? Just completed week 9 of the Hal Higdon Novice 2 half marathon training plan, and I'm happy to say everything is back on track. I'm feeling good, no more cramps, no major injuries. Did both long runs and the 10K. So everything is going great. So I really just have 3 more weeks to the big race. That includes the 11-mile long run, the 12-mile long run, and then, of course, the race itself. So I'll throw up the last 3 weeks on the screen here, week 7, 8, and 9. So week 7, I was a little nervous going into that long run of 9 miles. I did not increase that to 10. If you remember, I had run 9 before successfully, but coming off of a week and a half of no major running activity, I thought it's pretty questionable to do 10, and I was waiting to see how I felt, and I felt pretty bad at mile 8.5, so I just came straight back home. But it was a good run. I just didn't want to risk injuring myself for 1 mile that I didn't need to do. So now I'm back on the official training schedule. I'm no longer ahead of schedule, which is great. It also means my stupid plan to run ahead of time worked. But now I'm back on, and everything's feeling good. So I did miss one of the runs in the middle of week 7, coming back from injury. I just didn't have the legs to do 3 days in a row. So the third day, I think I bailed on it and just healed up so I could run the 9 miles successfully. The 10-mile run went exceptionally well. I had to wait for a thunderstorm to pass, and then was running through my neighborhood. Did 3 loops, which was kind of weird, but I was kind of afraid of getting a cramp, and I wanted to stay near my house so I could get water if I needed to, since it was pretty warm out. Adjusting the heat is definitely something that needs to happen. It's been kind of a struggle the last few weeks. It's really warmed up, and I had typically been doing my runs at lunchtime or after work, and now all of a sudden it's in the 80s at that time. And I'm just not prepared for that kind of heat. So I'm debating running in the morning. I am not a morning person, so getting up early to run before work seems like a struggle, but I might have to do it. It's got to be better than, if it gets to 85 degrees, I'm really going to struggle to put in 5 miles on a Wednesday. And then, so this yesterday, today's Sunday, yesterday was Saturday, I ran a 10K race. I will throw my splits up on the screen for you. My total time was 1 hour and 7 minutes and 16 seconds. The race people actually didn't give me one of the official timers, so I had a bib, but no official time at the end of the race. So that's fun. But I timed it on my watch, so no problem. So you can see I started pretty fast. That is because the race started fast. I did not want to be last. And I was nearly last for the first mile, running a 10:19 mile, which was baffling. There was over 100 runners in the race, but it ends up at the end, there was only 5 people that ran 12-minute miles or slower. And I was about 15 people from the back of the race at the end, which I found surprising. I'm not sure why that was the case. I feel like normally there's a better balance of faster and slower runners. Doesn't really matter, I guess, if I finish last. It's just an emotional holdover I have from cross country in high school when I was one of the slower runners. That was always my goal, was not to finish last. So it was a little extra motivation, which got me going, but probably burned me out when the last mile came. But I kept a pretty even pace. It doesn't look like it. I guess mile 2 and 5 and 6 are 4, 5, and 6 are significantly slower, but that is because of elevation. There were some big hills, and I decided just to walk when it was steep. I think that's going to be my plan for the half marathon, so I thought I'll just do that here as well. And it worked pretty well, except that I passed the same guy probably 6 or 7 times towards the end of the race. I'm sure I was driving him nuts. I'd get to a hill, I'd walk up it, he'd shuffle up the hill, and then on the way down, I would just let myself go. And so I'd pass him, and I did end up beating him at the end of the race, but that's only because there wasn't a hill for the last half a mile. So if there was one more hill, he would have definitely gotten me. And the race was in a thunderstorm, which was fun. I'd never done that before. When I was in cross country in high school, if there was lightning, we didn't run. So this being a charity race, I guess. It wasn't. It was officially timed and everything, but not a big promotion. So they just let it go off on time, even though we were scheduled to get rain and lightning and everything else. But it made it fun, made it different. Didn't find it challenging, kept me cool. Um, I often get annoyed when rain's hitting my face when I'm running, but it didn't even bother me because I was, exerting such an effort. So anyway, that's it. 3 more weeks to the race. I feel good. I think 11 and 12 will be fine. 11 and 12 miles, that is. I'm just going to keep it slow, walk on hills if I need to, take some water with me. Um, Not hurt myself is the key at this point. I'm sure I can get through the 13 miles even if I didn't do these 2 runs, but definitely want to do them so I'm better prepared. Um, and then I'll show you one more time the elevation map for my half marathon. It's the New River half marathon in Boone, Todd, North Carolina, but right next to Boone. Um, there's a couple of giant hills, so that's why all my anxiety about hills and my strategy for whether to walk them or run them. I think, given the size of the elevation for these 2 or 3 hills, I think walking is the strategy. Um, but it'll be good. I think the 10K will give me something to go by for how fast to run that race. I'll use one of the comparison calculators to see what my overall pace should be. And I'll probably try and run faster than that, knowing that I'm going to walk on the hills. The pace I ran this 10K, mid 10s, felt good. I don't know if I could hold it for 13 miles. That seems tough, but I'm sure getting up into the 11-minute mile mark should be fine. And then plus the bonus time for slowing down to walk the hills. Anyway, that's it.